Okay. It's a rematch. It's a rematch. In the bottom left side, Reynor. I said his name already. I spoiled it. I've been doing this for how long? It's Reynor. There you go. Team Clash, European. He faced off against this threat before. Didn't quite work out that well. A couple of things just build order-wise. Not quite lining up for our Zerg player there. But then again, not a lot of things line up for you when you play against someone of the likes of this blue Terran right here, representing Team Korea and Team NV, of course, as well. It is Maru. Alright. You see, become a VTuber, yeah. Exactly. But then like the worst kind, right? Where it doesn't react to anything I do. It's just the same GIF that plays over and over with just the mouth going up and down. And that's it. That's all I want. That's good enough for me. Would be really cool if it registers when I rage that it just like, you know, it changes to a rage face. That would be cool. That would still be cool, but yeah. It's all good. Alright. No spawning pool first for Reynor this time around. He's not being proxy rexed either. Maru, it looks like he's kind of given up on his proxy rex ways a little bit, hasn't he? At least every single game, which makes me wonder whether or not the proxy 2 rex, if that was a choice just because he thought it was the best thing he could do, or if that was a choice because of his medical condition at the time, right? We all picked up on how many wrist issues and stuff like that he was having. Of course, now being part of Team NV as well as the Jin Green Wings, so I'm sure also tried to help him out with this. But doing a lot of therapy, doing a lot of work, trying to improve on those departments, really allowing him to play these late games again is how I kind of think about it. I'm not sure if that's right. I probably should ask him before I actually start making these statements, but there you go. If you want to live in a fantasy world as I do, there you go. Now you can join me. Well, it's a potential fantasy world, I guess. Reaper does get a Zergling there, doesn't he? Yes, he's a true hunter now. We'll be able to return home with the hide. Meat for the wife. Zergling steak will be had today. Of course, he will have to bring it home. Rich Reaper lore as well being incorporated. We've never got worse at casting, guys. We've only been getting better. Only been getting 3rd CC coming in. So that's the 3rd hatchery. Now 3rd CC is very quick, isn't it? I think it started around the 3-minute mark. By the time when the Zerg usually takes that 3rd base, but as you can see, they are very closely knit together. Still going for the Hounds as well. They take up a bit of extra minerals, so they're going to be a little bit slower because of this. And a little bit lacking in numbers, I suppose. But maybe Maru doesn't need that much, right? Could be that he's just going to play this for creep denial, not going to look for drone kills or anything of the likes. Well, I guess we just got ourselves an answer to what he wants to be doing here. Fusion Core being constructed. Is that Overlord going to see? Oh my god, that was so close. I don't think he did. Oh, you're never going to estimate that this is going to become battle cruisers. That is going to be a nasty surprise here. Reynor, though, may anticipate Banshees, which is going to be a very similar response. You just need to be a little bit more, how do you say this, aggressive with your defensive? Does that make sense? You got to go more heavily into those defenses. You know, you can't skip around Spore Crawlers and one Queen. You want to have a pretty beefy ball of Queens. Spore Crawler in every base. No time to mumbo jumbo. If you shut down that battle cruiser without it doing anything, that is a wonderful position after all. Hellions here also a little bit struggling with getting stuff done. The Viking attempting to clear out the area of Overlords. Going to make it easier for the battlecruiser later down the line to travel along those tracks in the sky that have been cleared out by that Viking there, of course. Did he kill that Overlord? Yes, he did. 3 kills already on that Viking. Very strong. What's going on with this first battlecruiser? I doubt that he's gonna walk it across the map. Usually the first one, you just want to be able to get in the opponent's base as quickly as possible. But is he gonna try to combine it with the Hellions? Is he gonna try to do a multi-pronged attack over here? Let's take a look. We're gonna follow this battlecruiser around, and so far, well, maybe he hasn't. There we go. And there it is. Alright, everything on top of one another. The Queens here gonna try their best. The Hellions have to back off a little bit there. Gonna decrease that DPS on those Queens for a little bit, but safeguard them against those Zerglings. Battlecruiser having a tough spot, but already killing 2 of those Queens. Only 4 remain. The drones, on the other hand, though, they are in a peculiar little area right now. Those Hellions do not mess around. 13 drones, just like that. The Queen's preoccupied with the battlecruiser, perhaps maybe chasing it a little bit too hard with the Hellions still being a threat there, of course. But then again, you cannot allow that battlecruiser to just sit there and shoot at your Queens. That is still so much damage. You're going to be taking a lot of Queen damage as, well, extra Queen losses really, right? Third base being scattered here as well. Reynor realizing, okay, you're not just being very aggressive, you're also keeping up with the macro here quite stellarly. And that's a full SCV line after all, already on that third base, and Reynor not that far ahead. He's actually behind on workers right now, of course, after all losing, what, 13 of them. Apparently the Nightbot is still a bit, Ignore Nightbots, everybody. Ignore Nightbot in the Twitch chat. Anyway. Here we go. The Queen Parade once more. Coming in, stutter-stapping their way. Gotta watch out with those high heels, of course, ladies. They do walk around a little bit. Like, they have very uncomfortable boots or high heels on, you know. Like, I'm not quite sure how to move. Both arms just sideways, trying to keep balance. The skirt's somewhat lifted, trying to, wait, hold up, there's Hellions! There's Hellions! Ah, they're not doing much. Actually, that is a lot of things. Whoa! Maru messed up. He done gooped. Now not anymore, now he killed all the Zerglings. There's no Queens here. Oh my! Oh my! That is a lot of drones once again. I fear the very worst here in situations like these. If you are a Zerg player. 24 workers lost. There's another battlecruiser. Yeah, things... The tab has been opened up, guys. This is just not going to end anymore. Maru's just going to keep sending in stuff, I feel like. Although this battlecruiser, maybe overestimating how much that was going to get done. More drones do fall, but at the same time... the Queens kind of managed to shoot that battlecruiser away. The battlecruiser should have to teleport once again. Gonna go back home, ready to repair as the third battlecruiser here. And yeah, just producing an enormous amount of siege tanks at this moment as well. Going for quite the heavy mech style. Corruptors for Reynor starting to come up. Desperately needs them in a situation like this, but then again, I don't see any further production of battlecruisers continuing here. Most likely we're gonna stick on 3 of them. And if Reynor overproduces on these Corruptors and the ground army, that 6 siege tanks already. And how many at a time can we make? Like 3, 4, 5? I'm not even sure. There's only 2 of them in the production right now. More drones going to go down as well. Things just keep getting worse for Reynor here. That's pretty much the story. 10 more drones. And 15, yeah. Right, well, 15 drones. That's alright. That's alright. I would be happy with that. I would be very exquisitely happy with that. And that on top of the 34 other drones that were already killed. Incredibly happy. That is a good day of drone hunting. Creep spread for Reynor is still pretty reasonable. It's very important for Maru to be able to deny this as much as possible, of course. Wants to be pushing forwards with these siege tanks as quickly as possible. Don't want to set up, kill the creep, set up, kill creep, you know, and keep going like that. Reynor already had quite an army disadvantage here. Desperately needs every bit of help that he can get. So any delay from this army pushing across the map, any speed increase, of course, that the creep gives here is detrimental to Reynor getting something done here. Good Ravager Biles, good help out at Zoun as well. Nice pickup from one of those siege tanks there already. That's a good trade. Let's see how many more times he will have to do this before this becomes a fair fight. He's going to try to commit here. The Banelings going for connections onto those Hellbats, but there's just so many. There is just so many. Look at the amount of Corruptors made here. 17 Corruptors versus 3 Battlecruisers. I think Reynor may be overestimating the amount of Battlecruisers that would be reduced here. But then again, at the same time, if you undermake Corruptors, things are going to be just as bad, if not worse, in a lot of situations. Corruptors now still will be able to try and get something done here. Going across the map, might be able to get some corrosive vials into something or find those Battlecruisers. They should be able to be brought down. This push is still going onwards, of course. Reynor losing bases, Maru losing Battlecruisers. He doesn't really care that much about anymore. These siege tanks, they are the main force right now. The Banelings trying to get close. They managed to get rid of 1 siege tank, but 8 more remain. And this siege tank line is not ever going to be brought down by Ravagers and Roaches, it looks like. A good batch of Zerglings might be able to get something done there, but you need to save them all up and run in at the same time. Especially with those Hellbats in the area as well, still making it quite difficult to engage. Cyclones managed to deal with the Corruptors, not going to lose any bases to that frivolously. I believe that's the word. I think so. Right, there we go. Another attempt to clean this all up from Reynor. Might be able to get it done now. The siege tank Hound's gonna take a bit of a tumble down the cliffside. Let's look at the units tab right here. Only 1 siege tank remains. 8 Cyclones, 10 Cyclones, 6 Hellions. The Battlecruiser has been reproduced. Seeing how the Corrupted numbers is only at 4 right now. That is a good call from Maru. I love that. Seeing these players being so good in a sense like that, right? You make the 3 Battlecruisers, your opponent overmakes Corruptors, then tries to find a way to make use of them still. Loses most of them, trying to get some use out of them inefficiently. And then you start making Battlecruisers again. It's like, oh, so you lost the counter to this? Alright, well, here we go again. Fantastic stuff there. Maru in complete domination mode right now. The top side of the map has been taken. The bottom side has been taken as well, but Maru may have something to say about that. A couple of little pokey spine crawlers here. It's not going to be enough. Zerglings, that might be enough. That might be enough. But then again, we have another force. Ooh, Banelings. Maru not paying as much attention to that minimap as someone as, of course, magnificent as I was right there, seeing all of that happen. Clearly, this means I'm better at StarCraft. Ah, the lies we tell ourselves. Alright. Wonderful lies. Wonderful lies. Alright. Maru kind of having to slow things down a little bit. Needs to be careful not to lose that mech army too inefficiently a couple of times, right? It's okay if it happens once or twice, but if it happens over and over again, that is when the Zerg might be able to start getting a foothold back into this game. Especially against the battle mech, right? Because the battle mech, it's still very, very fragile. It might not sound like it because it's mech, and not the first thing that comes to mind when you're talking about mech. Fragility. But, here we go. Will those Banelings get good, proper connections? I'm not quite so sure. There's enough Zerg here. Oh my, there's more siege tanks than there's Banelings and Zerglings combined. That is a problem. That is a big problem. And we're going to have to see whether or not Reynor finds some sort of a solution to this situation. Still at max supply, still 100 army supply strong, but it's not really a proper army. It's roaches. It's a couple of Vipers here that are very impactful. It's going to be able to shut down those siege tanks quite nicely, but there's still more remaining on the back line. Just barely, not enough to break through here. It seems the Banelings, I would love to see them make a remove. No, I don't go in. Those Banelings for like one hellbat. Feels like I'm losing the queens as well. Reynor. He's on the verge of starting to clean this up again here, which would be a magnificent feat. He is doing absolute wonders with the army composition that he has. Manages to rid himself of that battlecruiser there as well. Now it's starting to get a good visual on how bad this situation is over here on the top left side. He does not know about those 2 extra bases, which might mean he just is not anticipating them to be there quite yet. Ooh, I like that, going for the abductions rather than the blinding clouds. Of course, unfortunately, if you do intend to keep moving forwards, the blinding cloud there would have been nice. Is this gonna work? Is it gonna work? Is it gonna be efficient? That's the next question. I highly doubt that this was efficient for Reynor, but once again, siege tank count back to 2. Roach count back to 2 as well, though. Yeah. I mean, it's way more efficient than I feel like it should be. You know, it's only a 6,000 mineral difference so far in resources lost, considering there's like, what, 50, 60 workers lost there for Reynor and only 1 for Maru. The army trading here is still going okay for Reynor with like Zergling, Roach, Baneling, Ravager. A couple of Corruptors and Vipers with the Queens as well mixed in, of course. That's just full-blown mech, Hellbat, Siege Tanks, Battle Cruisers, Cyclones, everything. Rough spot right there. The Battle Cruiser did manage to take out all of those Vipers, the 3 Vipers right now. Reynor a bit strapped for cash as he is losing base after base. Does manage to rid himself of one of the Terran bases. But then again, is that gonna matter for Maru here? I'm not entirely sure. Still has a reasonable foothold here. This could be our last battle here. Will Maru break through? It might happen. And there it is. GG is called. Reynor taps out. As that was just an absolute domination right there from Maru. Very well played. What a show. What a show.